We start the webinar.
Okay, I should probably switch from. All right. So I should start. Oh, here they come. Ah, Nacho is here. Hey, hi Nacho.
Hello, Nacho. If you are here, say hello in the chat.
Yes, Nacho
Because
has
this is
said
not a
hello.
talk, this is a conversation.
Hello, David. Hello, another Jan. Ugrundre. My apologies for butchering that. Not. Oh, how many Jans does that make? I think that's probably the most common name in this conference. Actually, I can check. That's in my administrative power, if I remember. Let's see. 6 total. That's funny. All right, let's give people a few more minutes. Should takes. We have Sigi Oscarsson. Isn't it an ALS for Ole, maybe? Okay. No, I cannot hear you.
Sorry, I was muted. But let me share my screen a little bit so you can start talking.
What do you have for us today?
Can you see GitHub right now?
Yes.
Okay. Ia is always on GitHub, then there is no news for Ian because Ia is already here celebrating stuff. But if you're not here, you should check the PRs because Denilson is one of the guys in our team on Meteor, and he's adding new flags to the command line so you're able to deploy for free and also to embed your MongoDB in your application. And I would like to have some questions about it. And how are you planning to do, or when are you planning to release? I don't want to ask questions myself because I know the answers, but otherwise I can ask. Do you have any questions here? Yeah.
Yes, I have questions about this and about kind of the things that you mentioned. First of all, I think everybody's question is, what is your estimate that this is going to make it to Meteor? When can we use the free and MongoDB in Galaxy?
Yeah, the idea for us to have this release, it's not a promise, it's our idea. I will open my presentation as well, then it's easier to understand what I'm talking about. But our goal is to have this in the worst case in December, but we are trying to get this before December. Then we are trying to get this in November. As you can see, like here, we already have this in the command line, and we also have already this on Galaxy side, but we need to test it a little bit more, but it's already working. Maybe even, I don't know if Denilson is here watching, but Denilson has already app deployed with the.
You got out there for a moment. Yeah. Filipe is frozen. That's not good.
Deciding what we're going to group together in the same release, because we think would be nice to have like 2.0 and also this, and maybe also push to deploy all together to create an impact using the conference name, then maybe it would be better to hold a little bit, but at least we can have like a more complete message of this rebranding and everything together. And also, but maybe you can also try a beta phase. Maybe people that want to be candidates in this beta phase could try, and you could allow a few users. Then that's what we are discussing at the moment. But I would say we are pretty close. Like we are waiting for years as Meteor users. Then you don't need to be anxious. It's coming soon. It's not something that is not started. It's pretty much done, but we need to test and polish a little bit. Like improve the UI for this, and yeah, that's it.
Okay, so Felipe, we have already couple of or one question about Meteor Cloud. So if you can probably
Yeah,
go
let me
kind of
get
back
to
to that slide,
this. Yeah.
uh, kind of overview what it is and when can we expect that to come, and how is that actually going to look like? How is that going to change uh, the site? Is it going to be uh, as kind of as we see it now, just a different icon and logo, or
Yeah, the deadline is about the same. As I said, we are trying to group this. But of course, if you see like, for example, just a random example, oh, tree shaking is not at this stage that you want yet, then maybe you can just postpone tree shaking and deliver the other parts. We don't want to hold something that's already ready, just to have a group of features together. But of course, maybe you want to hold a little bit. I don't know if I should show what I'm going to show right now, but we have like a new, I'm show pretty quickly, and then we have like this new kind of branding, and
ooh,
you can watch in the recording
nice
later.
graphics.
Yeah, yeah. Then the idea is to, and if you look to my presentation carefully, you can see like this top bar is not what you see today in meteor.com. Then if you
Yep.
go to meteor.com, it's not exactly the same. It's similar, but it's not the same. Then you should expect some updates, because one of the main goals with this rebranding is to try to get together all the features that we have today and make them more complete. So we are trying to have like
Okay, Felipe, I am not sure if it's me or
it's
you.
gray here, but then
You're
you go
cutting out.
here. I'm cutting out.
Yeah, it's either you or me. I'm not entirely sure because just this time
Yeah,
you were
it's
moving.
better now.
Yeah, right
Okay.
now it's fine. So
Yeah, then like this is gray, like it's not this, it does not look the same, right? Then the idea is to have some concept like AWS maybe, where you have this console there, and then you can just change the service inside AWS. I think everybody knows here like a little bit about AWS console. Then if you could have a better looking feel, like more unified, like atmosphere as well. Of course, it's not going to be perfect in the first version. Even AWS, you look today, you have a few products that are like old generation, then and others are improving over time. But at least we are going to have a brain that you know that you want to unify. Because right now we don't have it. It's just like a lot of different systems with different styles. And then we are going to have at least one system. And we are partnered with Z1, that is from tiny companies as well. And Z1 is a company from Spain that does like a lot of great designs. And then we are getting their help to shape the one, I think is one digital. Then we are pairing with Z1 to have great designs, to have a great like top for all the apps, to have a new dashboard to centralize all the products. Then you today when you go to your MDG account, MDA account, sorry, you don't see like your products, you don't see your apps, you don't see your packages. Then you are trying to bring all together in a new dashboard for you. Then that's our ideas. We don't know how far we are going to go in this first release, but we are going to have this. Like this is one. It's also a company, a tiny company, and then we are also partnered with them to have these new styles. Do you have more questions? Where are you get the questions?
yes,
Because I don't see
in the
questions.
polls
Ah, okay, okay.
might. I think you might need to refresh it. I gotten stuck there. So
I opened this before we started.
okay, and apparently the issue was on your side. Red said that he can hear me just fine, but you sometimes cut off. Okay, thank you guys. That makes me feel better.
Right now, it's okay. People say. I don't know. You can read the questions for
Strange.
me because it's not
Okay,
showing
I'll,
up
I'll
here.
read it for you. About tree shaking implementation, is tree shaking implementation supporting the bundle reduction on dynamic import modules? And is tree shaking applied to class methods?
Class methods. Class methods, I don't think so because I think it's very hard to predict when a class method is being used or not. But like I always try to think in releases in terms of like the MVPs, and I don't consider like hot model replacement done or tree shaking done. We always can improve it, and tree shaking that's the case because tree shake you can go in all directions. You can have
Another cutout. That's strange. A lot of duplication.
tree
We can,
shaking inside
you
dynamic
cut out
import.
again, Felipe.
I don't know what I can do. Can
Let me check what is the status of Zoom if they are having, just in case. Okay,
yeah, I
Zoom
can
is
try to
fine.
connect to 4G, but I don't know if it's going to be better or worse. Let me try to switch to 4G just a moment. I cannot stop sharing. Maybe that's going to help.
Maybe half. Okay, but yeah,
Let
so
me
we were on tree shaking and classes.
yeah, I'm switching now. 1 second. Can you hear me?
Yeah, everything is still working fine.
Okay, I'm over 4G now. Okay, I was talking about tree shaking and classes when I start to cut off.
Yeah.
Yeah, like what I was saying, like methods are very hard to predict when they are being used or not because you can have inheritance, you can have a lot of crazy stuff with classes. That's one of the reasons that I don't use classes very often. And then classes are not good for tree shaking. And I was explaining that even if in the first version you can't reshake some parts of the code, then later we can also improve it because we are really analyze the whole tree. We are going to visit all the nodes and we are trying to understand all the relationships. And also I said that about dynamic imports. I don't remember if when Rena finds one dynamic import, if he's going down and try to remove the code inside this module or if he's stopping the first level. I don't remember, but you can also ask to Renan in the PR and he can explain better. And maybe it's even in the PR description, but I think he's reshaking everything that's possible. One thing that we know for sure that we are not reshaking this first version is the common JS code. Then we should try to use the ES6 version of the libraries that you are using. Most of the libraries are already updated to ES6, but some libraries provide both. Like you need to use /EA6 or you need to use just the root because they want to be compatible with the pass. Then if you have the option to choose ES6 modules, you should use the ES6 modules. Then we need to check later if you have still a lot of libraries using CommonJS, then maybe you should go to this direction because the difference that HeyFi is transforming the ES6 in module.link, but CommonJS, it's just there because it's already transformed for CommonJS. Then we should do like a custom way to bring this back to the RayFi model and then to shaking it, then it would be a lot of more work to do it. I'm not sure because Benjamin, one of the last releases, you're able to recompile the code and you can have a special settings in the main module of your package JSON. I don't know if in this case RayFi is going to recompile to EA6, but that's all questions that are valid and you can respond later. and you can understand better these needs. Because that's why it's so important that you use the beta, because the beta is the best way for you to check in your code and provide feedback, and then you can make decisions based on real projects, real code. That's the goal.
Mhm. Just kind of follow up on that. What about bundle reduction on dynamic import modules?
Yeah, I think I respond that. Like, I don't remember if we are to shake inside dynamic modules or not, but Hannah for sure knows this answer. You should ask in the PR, because I really don't remember. Oh, now I
Awesome.
can see the questions. I think it was my connection.
Okay. Glad that it's solved. Looks like it went for a lower resolution to compensate for some of that. Okay. Kind of what you've shown a lot in the presentation were some of, say, additional packages that you can find on Atmosphere, some of that your company does. How about bringing some of that functionality to the core? So instead of having these different packages outside of bringing and standardizing that in the core.
Yeah, well, I think this is a valid discussion. I think we already have some times on Slack, and it's not an easy decision, because we need to think about like pros and cons. Like, what is the benefit of being the core? Because in the core, sometimes you need to wait a new release, or you need to wait for me to release it. Then we are not opposite. Like, as you said, most of these packages are under Quav name. That's my company. But also we can just have this in the core. That's not a problem. But my problem with the core is that today, just us, like three guys, like just the core team, we can release the core. And you are in the community, you have a lot of other members. Then I'm not sure if the problem is where the package is. I think the problem is more where the documentation is for these nice packages. Then, like, we should have a single place to go, and maybe the atmosphere is the answer. Maybe we should have a better structure on atmosphere that you can see like recommended packages, and you can see a list by topic. Okay, social, these are the recommended packages, and you just select one, and then you can vote whatever. But we are not going to have like three Facebook accounts there. We're just going to have one, because if we start to add like, okay, this package is important, it goes to the core. Like everything is going to the core, because everybody knows that thinks that their own package is really important, because otherwise the package would not be there. Then I think that's the challenge here. But of course, you can discuss case by case. You can even open an issue in our packages, and you can decide if it goes to the core or not. And even for me, it's hard to decide, because like I'm using in my products, and I also have heavy access to put in the core. Then for me, it's the same. Then we need to decide like case by case, because I don't want to also grow the core a lot, and then everything is centralized in the same repo, in the same decisors. Because if you start to contribute to one of these packages on the way it is right now, I can just provide access to you to be admin there. That's it. It's simpler than just provide you to be admin on Meteor. And Meteor core packages have a few limitations. Like, if you have minors and majors versions, you just publish with Meteor versions. Then you need to wait. Then, like, if you have a Facebook dependency and you want to update the account's Facebook, and if it's the core, ideally you should update the minor. But then you need to wait the next release of, like, I think we already did this. Yeah, in one
Yes,
case,
yes.
you just use the patch because it was faster to release. Then the core has also
Yeah.
these problems. Then, but I'm not against it. Like, you just need to discuss case by case. And I think maybe like the Apple or Alfie and the accounts Apple, maybe they should be in the core, because Facebook, Google, whatever, they are in the core as well. But I think we can decide case by case. But that's a good discussion, and we should also have a guideline. Try to understand like when something needs to go to the core, and even maybe we should extract some packages from the core.
Yeah, I think we have a couple of packages that are on its way out because of the Unring technology being deprecated and so on. Primary example, the HTTP package, and there are some other non-core packages at this point. And then we have the entire discussion around what to do with Blaze, which accidentally will be, I think, our next discussion. So I think we'll just leave that for that. And I would like to again open this to people listening. Any question?
I think they have a new question
Yeah,
about
there
the
is
effort. Yeah.
for yeah. So how about the effort of creating an architectural overview of the Meteor framework?
Yeah, I know the guys that are working with Vue, like the Spider and other guys there create some very good like charts trying to explain meter internals. I don't know where this works at right now, but it was really good. Maybe we could try to take advantage of this work that's already in progress and try to create some like good overviews inside the guides or inside the docs. But like I'll win for this, but the matter that is important to understand is that we need to prioritize, right? Because we need to choose like what we can do because of course time is limited. But I think this is really important. Like we need my focus for like next year, I believe will be more like to the beginners and to new users because we have a lot of people that love Meteor, and you could see this in this conference, and you are still seeing this in this conference, and you saw a lot of companies that are like receiving investments, selling the company. Then these companies are doing real business with Meteor, and maybe you didn't know that before the conference. But then we also need to attract new users, like to have new blood, because we have a lot of people here that know a lot about Meteor, but you need to have new blood. Like you need to have new people that are excited about Meteor. And when they start to compare like Meteor with another options, like for new users, like for new developers, it's even better. Like if we really love Meteor and we are in general experienced developers, like for new developers, it's even better because it's so easy to at least to start. It's not easy all the way, but to start, it's really easy. And for beginners, even to have a server and a client in two separated projects is already a challenge. Then you
Speaking
don't
of
need to even think about
beginners,
this.
speaking
Go
of
ahead.
beginners, what will be some of the limitations of the free hosting?
Yeah, well, like I think one obvious limitation that we are going to impose is the container size. We are probably going to start with tiny and maybe expand to compact, but you need to see the feedback. You need to see what kind of applications are going to run there. And one fear that I have, but you need to check in real life, is that people can't be like confused by, okay, this is what Galaxy can offer because it's only allowed in the free host like this size. I try to explain a little bit better because if you start just with tiny, of course, tiny is a limited container. That's the idea. That's why the name is tiny. It's a tiny container, really small. Then if you test with tiny and say, oh, Galaxy is slow. No, it's not Galaxy. Like Galaxy runs clusters on AWS, powering a lot of business that you saw yesterday. But the point there is that it's free. Then of course, this specific container, it's a limited container. Then you should expect not to have like a blazing fast app because you can't compare Meteor with other frameworks that are just generating static HTML in the server because it's not the same thing. It's like a real connection, doing real actions in the server, like in many cases all the time and comparing a lot of stuff. Then that's the challenge. And that's for sure one limitation. Otherwise, we are going to spend a lot of money in research because we need to have real servers in the other side. But a nice way that we are trying to handle this is with cold start. Then we are going to stop the free apps if you are not receiving connections. And when you receive connections, we are going to start the apps automatically for you. And we are not sure yet how we are going to display this to the end user. Maybe in the future, you can even customize this message or you can put a static HTML there. We don't know yet, but we are working on this. It's already working as well as a proof of concept. Then when the first request comes, you will start your app. That's also used by Heroku. We are not reinventing the wheel.
Mhm.
That's the idea. And then this way, we believe you can save a lot of resources and then you can provide more free apps. Then that's probably the trade-off here.
Awesome. I have seen this asked a couple of times in one or another. What is the thinking of Electron and Meteor Desktop? So
Yeah.
like we have Cordova, then
In the presentation yesterday, I showed that BMark is also used in the desktop because the restaurants or the stores, they use the BMark in the backend to accept the orders. And they also print in the like thermal printer, I think is the name in English. And then like they do all this stuff, but it's not an Electron app, because on Windows, if you have a PWA and if you set up it in the proper way, you can also have like the app in Windows Store and you can install your app. Then it's almost the same as Electron, but it's not exactly the same. But on Electron, I think I need to understand a little bit more what are the challenges on like building an app in Electron, because I think I never built an app for Electron. Then if there are people that really want that, or they are already using it with Meteor, because I know it's possible, and but you have some challenge, we should discuss this. Like you have many channels for discussion, but this kind of discussion, I don't know if it's already there because we have a lot of feature requests there, but I have a repo just for feature requests. And also that's a nice goal for next year. I would like to clean up a little bit, and not just clean up deleting the request, but clean up, implement some of the feature requests. But of course, I think we have more than 300 requests there, and most of them we are not going to do because they are just like specific needs for one guy that wrote, okay, I would like to have this. I mean, that makes no sense for the Meteor as a framework. But if you have needs for Electron, we should support, because it's growing. Like almost everything that you have in our computers nowadays, it's using Electron. Then it's pretty powerful. I would like to understand more this problem.
Awesome. So we have 5 minutes left before we have to jump to the other discussion. There is, so last call for question. There's only one, which I think we can answer before. Is there an estimation on when commit to push will be available?
Yeah, the deadline is again the same. I don't know if you join after, but it's about like the end of November or early December. That's our goal. Push to deploy is not started yet, like the code, but we are already discussing the ideas and how we could do it for at least 1 or 2 months. And I'm really excited about this. And I said that in the call yesterday, because it will open a lot of doors. Like imagine that you could have just like your repo on GitHub and you can click a button, and this button can deploy to Galaxy for free with MongoDB. Then it's like the old magic that you have in the past with Meteor. And I even provide an example that I just created a game like this in a Saturday. And it was pretty cool because I didn't need to spend money, and I could play the game in a few hours live with my friends. And that was a real case. It was not just like a story that I made up to say in the talk. I even have this code, I believe, somewhere. And that's a cool game. It's called Dixty. But of course, I'm probably breaking the law because I was using the picture of the real cards, and they probably have like some legal, but it was just like for one day we just play with a few friends. But then that's the idea. And I would like to also know what you think about push to deploy. That's another thing that you can discuss. We also have a repo that's called Galaxy Dash Roadmap, or yeah, I think that's the
Yes,
name.
that's it.
And you can open issues there to discuss ideas, and maybe we can open an issue to discuss like how push to deploy should work. But the goal is to deploy without interacting with a real machine in your side. Then that will, like I said in the talk as well, like for stage environments, maybe you should use this, and you just need to create a setting, and then you could have a stage environment on Galaxy. And that's also good for the business, right? Because if you can double all the apps that have just one environment to two environments, we are going to make more money. Or maybe you can even offer discounts for a staging. Most of our clients already have stagings there, but you can try to expand this. I know like Nacho on Pathful, he has some nice work around Nacho containers. I like to have fast like staging test environments. Then you should even try to accommodate this use case there as well. Because the good part about Galaxy is that you just pay for the hours that you are running. Then if you can create a way that you just like put the app there, and you can very easily remove the app, like you're going to pay like 1 hour, and 1 hour is going to be like 11 cents. Like then it's very cheap for any company that's running a real business. Then maybe that could be a very powerful feature for big companies. Like, okay, I can just deploy a branch, and then I test, and then I delete this app on Galaxy, and that's going to cost me like 11 cents to test my app. Then it can be really, really powerful. That's our plan.
Awesome. I think that's all the time we have. It's time to switch to our Blaze
I
panel.
think my connection is bad, yeah, that I can hear you. But I think you are probably wrapping up, right?
Yes, that's correct. Thank you very much, everybody. The next panel will be starting very shortly. It's about Blaze today and moving forward. And Felipe is going to be there
I'll be
as well.
there.
Okay,
Thank you,
bye bye.
guys.